What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over social media at GBP Daily, and if you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Like the video, throw a comment down in the comment sections. It really helps the channel be seen across YouTube. It is Monday, October 7th, a victory Monday. I will add the Packers in a game that seemingly was a battle to start, from start to finish. Beat the Rams yesterday, 24-19, a game that had many frustrating moments, but also some exciting moments. The early going was a little rough outside of the bomb to Jaden Reed in the first quarter of the Packers offense. Couldn't get much going, which was a little frustrating, but Jordan Love threw a pick six that thankfully he bounced back from, immediately finishing overall with 224 yards passing and 2 touchdowns and a pick, which was that pick six that I just mentioned. Josh Jacobs had a solid day on the ground, 73 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, his first ever touchdown in a Green Bay Packers uniform. And the player of the day on the offensive side of the ball, Tucker Kraft, 2 touchdowns, 88 receiving yards on just 4 targets. He is becoming one of my favorite Packers to watch this year. Almost never goes down on first contact, which from a Packers tight end standpoint, we are not used to seeing. The defense, they had a pretty solid day yesterday. Only allowed 13 offensive points. And I do understand it's frustrating at times when it seems like they're getting rain all over. But overall, they held up good against the Rams offense. Kyren Williams, the Rams running back, did have 102 rushing yards and a touchdown. You'd like to see the tackling get cleaned up a little bit, in my opinion, but only allowing 13 points to a Matthew Stafford-led offense is a good day's work. Xavier McKinney, an absolute baller, had another interception yesterday, his 5th pick in as many games. I honestly, I laughed when it happened because that what he's doing right now just does not happen and will probably never happen again as far as how many consecutive games a new Packer will start out with getting picks. We'll see if he can keep that streak going next week against the Cardinals. He also recovered a fumble that Kingsley Enagbare forced and had a nice pass breakup early in the game. Xavier McKinney, in my opinion, well on his way to being an all-pro this year. Carl Brooks showed out yesterday. 1.5 sacks. Edgerrin Cooper had a sack and is starting to see the field more, which you'd love to see. I don't think I'm going out on a limb here and saying that he is our best linebacker on the team. Quay Walker struggled a little bit yesterday again, and Isaiah McDuffie, who was having some trouble tackling as well yesterday. But Edgerrin Cooper out there making plays every time he is given the opportunity to. Overall, A win is a win, and winning in this league is super hard. We all know that. Going on the road, a long journey over there to LA, and yeah, just grinding out a win. We were missing some guys, banged up a little bit, but still got a win, and I will never complain about that. Let's hop in the chat here. And as always, if you want to be a part of the show, ask some questions on air, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline. The number is on the screen. I will gladly take your call and chat some Packers. Haley starting us off. Packers are 3-2, trending in the right direction. I am enjoying my victory Monday. Absolutely, Haley. I think the Packers overall played probably a 5 or a 6 out of 10 game yesterday and still came out with a win. The first half was pretty ugly, as I said earlier, but we stuck away with a field goal right before the half, and coming out of halftime, forced a turnover with X getting a pick. So, and although the score doesn't reflect it, I think we pretty much controlled that game in the second half and had a few chances to put it away as the game went on, but couldn't. Hopefully they can sharpen up just a little bit more, and the score looks a lot different than the 5-point win yesterday. I do agree, though. They are trending in the right direction. Offense seems to be a little bit off, just a few clicks off, and some missed throws, some drop passes. If they can clean some of those things up, they're going to start. They are going to go to a whole other level on that side of the ball. Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals come to town next week, and I think outside of the Vikings, they are probably the best team that we're going to face so far this season. Cardinals just beat the 49ers last week. You've got Kyler Murray playing pretty good at quarterback, and it's going to be a real test. So thankful this game is at home and rather than out in Arizona. So Ryan over on Facebook, great take. Could have used Dobbs with Watson out. Think he would have been used where Wicks missed some balls. Yes, Dontavian Wicks definitely struggled and has been struggling catching the football. As I was hopping on here, you might have seen me looking at my phone. That was because news just dropped that wide receiver Romeo Doubs plans to attend Wednesday's practice. Coming out of his meeting with the team today, the meeting went well, per source. That is Jeremy Fowler. So Romeo Doubs back at practice this Wednesday, and hopefully all things are good to go on that front. You love to see it. You love to see it. This probably could have went either way as far as the resolution of the situation. Best case scenario, though, with him being back with the team and practicing on Wednesday, you like to see it. Randall over on Instagram. Good afternoon, Rob. Big dub yesterday. Great to see Cooper play more and Narveson make his kick. Absolutely agree, Randall. Big win yesterday. Anytime you win on the road, and we're banged up. They were banged up as well. But anytime you win on the road in this league is good. Any win is good, obviously. But Narveson making his field goal, that was pretty sweet, huh? 48-yarder, I think, or 46-yarder, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, good to see Braden Narveson hit his only field goal attempt and then went 3 for 3 on extra points. So hopefully he's trending in the right direction as far as being a little more consistent and, yeah, just hit his field goals. So yesterday was a good start for that one. Randall, have a great Monday afternoon. Good to see you. Daryl over on Facebook. Wicks is not a 1 or 2 option. So far, a 3 or a 4. You get what you get. Yeah, Wicks has definitely been struggling with the drops. I know. He has the talent to be one of our top receivers, but if you can't catch the ball, not much else you can do. So hopefully you can start to catch the ball a little better. Let's see. Eric, I know called no-show today in honor of Dobbs. Eric throwing down the hammer. Way to tribute Romeo Dobbs. Yeah. Forgive and move on. I mean, oh man, how do you say that? You can't just, he served his crime, I guess, being suspended on Sunday. But man, no showing, kind of giving up on the team a little bit. That's not cool. So I don't like that. I was at the game yesterday. Sea of green. Aaron says over on Instagram. Yeah, I could see that on the broadcast and hear it. A lot of Green Bay Packers fans in the crowd yesterday over at SoFi. When we score, when we get a stop, especially that fourth down stop at the beginning of the game, yeah, the crowd was erupting. Hope you had a great time, Aaron. Glad you got to see a win. Ike is in the chat. I saw Kurt Benkert break down the Jordan Love pick six, and I can't put as much blame on him as I did originally. What's up, Ike? I'm glad you brought this up because I did see that clip that Kurt Benkert had earlier today talking about Jordan's pick six. For those of you who have not seen it, Kurt Benkert, former Packers quarterback, I'm sure you guys are all aware of by now. He has a pretty large presence on social media. He broke down the entire play of Jordan's pick six yesterday and said it was a great overall play from Jordan Love. He broke everything down from the blocking assignments, the play call, to the throw that led to the Rams picking it off and returning it the 3 or 4 yards for the touchdown. Long story short, there was some miscommunication along the left side of our offensive line, which allowed the blitzing linebacker, I think it was Ivan Pace, a free shot at Jordan. If Jordan would have had a couple more seconds, he would have had a wide open receiver. I think it was Jaden Reed streaking across the field for what would have been about a 30-ish yard completion. But instead, their free rusher got to Jordan. Jordan tried to throw it out of bounds towards Tucker Kraft. And Tucker, as you may have seen, sort of just stopped as he was tossing the ball. And the defender that was covering him kept going and obviously then picked off the pass and took it in the end zone. Now, I'm not excusing the pick because that was a bad decision, just a bad overall play from the offensive line. And then Tucker Kraft, who did stop on the play, allowing his defender to kind of just keep going, catch the ball, take it in the end zone. Not all that falls on Jordan, in my opinion, but he made the throw. It was a poor decision. I can't say I agree with Kurt Benkert saying it was a good play by Jordan Love, but yeah, definitely things were not set up for it to work from the get-go. So thankfully for us, Jordan cleaned it up from there and played pretty well the rest of the game. Thank you, Ike, for bringing that up. An interesting video. If you have not seen it already, go check out Kurt Benkert's Twitter. He had a good breakdown of that pick six by Jordan Love. Nick Beagle, Tucker Kraft has looked like a top tight end. He could end up being top 3 in a couple years. A couple years? He's already there, Nick. He's already there. I kid. Yes, he's well on his way to being one of the top tight ends in the league. I posted earlier today about Tucker Kraft. Let me bring it up here so I can get the exact stats going. He is 6th in receiving yards at 218 so far this year, tied for first in touchdowns with 3. And then yards after the catch, he has 11.8 per catch, and that is first. So he's right up there with all the top dogs as far as the stats go. And, man, so much fun to watch, isn't he? Tucker Kraft, an absolute dog. I had the absolute pleasure, brought Tucker Kraft's jersey up to training camp this last year, and he signed it for me, which was great. He was riding down the bikes before practice started, and he was one of the first ones coming down. It wasn't a huge crowd. He then came back out and told a couple people that were next to me, hey, this is all I'm signing. This is the only stuff I'm signing this training camp, and yours is all that is getting signed. Simple as that. Well, I walk up as he's kind of saying that, and he looks at me and says, I'll sign that one too. I obviously had his jersey. And yes, thankfully he was kind enough to take a few seconds to sign my jersey of his. Hanging up in the closet right now. I've got to get it in the frame and on the wall right next to Musgrave. That will be done sooner than later. Nick, would you rather have Jordan throw that pick six or the Rams get a safety in the ball back? Nick, great question. I thought of this immediately as it happened, thinking about that whole entire situation. And I heard Andy Herman talking about it earlier this morning, saying that, yeah, it was probably the better play than to take a safety because, yeah, if he would have taken the safety, we're nearing halftime, under 2 minutes, and the Rams then get the ball back. We'll say they score again, and we don't get anything out of it. As you remember, we did get a field goal off of the drive following that pick six So as Andy Herman pointed out, it was only a net of a -4 kind of a point swing there, as opposed to the Rams getting a safety. There's +2. And if they were to get a field goal before the half, or gosh forbid, a touchdown, that could have been a +9 or a +5 point differential as far as, or point swing from that play. So I think all in all it worked out. And thankfully we did get the ball back right away, went down and got a field goal. Shout out to Braden Narvison. And yeah, we ended up winning the game. So just by 5 points. So who knows how that could have turned out. Nick, great question. Thank you for tuning in. Liam, any update on Romeo Doubs? Liam, yes. As I was loading up the live, I did get an update that Romeo Doubs is expected to be back at practice on Wednesday. Jeremy Fowler tweeted that the meeting went well today between him and whoever he was talking to for the Packers. I would assume probably just about everybody. Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst. I'm sure the wide receivers coach is in there, and everybody else that needed to be in there. Conversations went well. He's back at practice Wednesday. At least that's what they're expecting, and hopefully smooth sailing ahead as far as the Romeo Doubs situation. I was talking earlier. I was thinking about it over the weekend. I said I wouldn't be surprised with any outcome of the situation. I wouldn't be surprised if this were to happen. He's coming back at practice, and he served his time as far as the suspended game yesterday. But I also wouldn't have been surprised if Romeo kind of would have stood his ground and said, you know what, I want more targets. I want to be the featured guy. And the Packers just saying, that's not how it works, and we'll ship you off somewhere else. But thankfully, he is going to be back at practice Wednesday, and hopefully smooth sailing here on out. Liam, thank you for the question, and thank you for hopping in the chat. I appreciate you. Durant, X is the GOAT, and that's all that needs to be said. Absolutely. Xavier McKinney, an absolute dog. Felix, how do you feel about the flat coverage from our linebackers now that we have adopted the 4-3? It's been interesting. It's been interesting to see these guys adjust. And I think the ones that are having the most problems are obviously Rashawn Gary and Quay Walker. I don't know if it's necessarily a scheme or a new defensive scheme, I guess, for Rashawn Gary as far as his struggles. He's got 1 sack in 13 games. I don't think scheme or anything else has to do with that. I think he's just in a slump. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not a film guru, but man, I predicted yesterday he was going to have 3 sacks, and he got 3 less than my prediction, which is unfortunate. Carl Brooks came in, though, pretty hot, 1.5 sacks. Preston Smith had a 0.5 sack. Edgerrin Cooper had a sack. So our edge rushers struggling. Lucas Van Ness struggling. I don't know what's going on. So hopefully they can improve here as the season goes on. We're already in week 5, or we're already in week 6. So need to see some more out of Rashawn Gary. That is for sure. Nick, I hope Jordan doesn't feel pressure to throw to Romeo. I feel like Aaron would have television sometimes to Tay. I really hope Jordan feeds the entire core. Yeah, that's been Jordan's MO since he was a starter. He feeds everybody. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. I'm sure just the natural thing here. Romeo's unhappy. He wants the ball more. It's hard to just kind of X that out of your mind as far as, you're going through the progressions or you're in practice. And it's like, okay, well, maybe this guy, maybe to keep him happy, I might hit more his way, regardless of what the defense gives you. I don't think that's going to be a problem for Jordan. But, an interesting situation. Unfortunately, we have a distraction. I don't know why. It seems like it just happened out of the blue for Romeo. And, I don't know. I'm not worried, though, about Jordan as far as having tunnel vision like Aaron did. Phil, thank you, Nick, for the comment. Phil, are you frustrated with the drop C's from the wide receivers like most Packers fans? It's frustrating, right? Jaden Reed had that awesome catch in what looked to be triple coverage, and then comes back the next drive and drops one right here on his hands I think that was a 3rd down, if I remember correctly. So, that was tough. And then Dontavian Wicks having some struggles for sure. It's just so early. Our team, and it's not an excuse anymore about how our team is so young, especially with things like this. You just got to catch the ball. It's that simple. And we are struggling with it. Absolutely. Hopefully we can clean some things up. So let's get the fact of the day rolling, shall we? And it is a good one.
It's time for your Green Bay Packers Fact of the Day. Brought to you by TickPick. TickPick guarantees to have the lowest prices on Packers tickets. If you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, TickPick will give you 110% of your money back. If you want $20 off your next ticket order, use code Packers20 at checkout. That's Packers20. This promo code can only be used in the app, so make sure to download the TickPick app today. Your next ticket or money.
All right, Packers fact of the day. Awesome one. During the game yesterday, the Green Bay Packers became the first team in NFL history to score 30,000 points. Absolutely love to see that. We've got the most championships. We've got the most wins of all time. We've got the most MVPs of all time. And now the first team ever to score 30,000 points and having the most points of all time. I don't think it's debatable. I'd say it's pretty undeniable that we are the greatest franchise of all time. You absolutely love to see it. During the game yesterday, the Green Bay Packers became the first team in NFL history to score 30,000 points. We've got the most championships of all time, the most wins of all time, and the most MVPs of all time, and now the most points of all time, being the first to score more than 30,000 points in NFL history. Undeniable that we are the greatest franchise of all time. You love to see it. Shout out to TickPick for partnering up with myself. Used them plenty of times. Never had a bad experience. I've talked with all the people that I recommend using TickPick to, and they have felt the same exact way. Download the TickPick app. Use the code Packers20 for $20 off. They've already got the cheapest tickets out there, guaranteed. If you find tickets that are cheaper elsewhere, they will reimburse you 110% of your money back. That's how much of a guarantee it is. Shout out to TickPick. Tyler in the chat. Sup? What's up, Tyler? Phil, fact of the day, alternative. 3-2 is better than 2-3. Phil, how about this one? 5-0 is better than 3-2. You got to go 3-2 to get to 15-2. So that's where I'm at, Phil. Appreciate you. What else we got? Armin is in the chat. Hey, by the way, if you want to be a part of the show and give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline. I want to hear your thoughts on the win yesterday. Give me a call. Be a part of the show. Numbers on the screen. Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332. Give me a call right now and be a part of the show. Love to hear from you. Armin's in the chat. Player of the game yesterday. That's a great question, Armin. And it's a good thing when you can't necessarily narrow it down to just one player. Offense, far and away, Tucker Kraft. As I mentioned earlier, 2 touchdowns, 88 receiving yards on just 4 catches. Been an absolute beast. Leads the NFL. Tied for first in touchdown catches with 3 touchdowns. First in yards after the catch with 11.8. Just an absolute beast. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Xavier McKinney, the absolute man. Seems like he's been the player of the week on that side of the ball every single week. And even outside of the interceptions, which he's on a crazy streak with. He recovered a fumble yesterday, had a nice pass breakup early in the game. He's just always in the right place at the right time. So Xavier, well on his way to being an all-pro this year. You love to see it. What else we got? Nick, do we think X is leading the defensive player of the year race? If not, who else? That's a great question, Nick. I've watched a bunch of football this year, but I can't say that I've really am up to tune on as far as who has the most sacks. I think Aiden Hutchinson has the most sacks. He's having a good year. But I think Xavier McKinney is right up there as far as Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He's already at 5 picks, which is crazy. Our whole entire team last year had 7. So Xavier is going to break that total by himself compared to our entire team last year. So crazy to think. Yep, he should be in the conversation, though, Nick. I agree. Cash over on Instagram. The way Tucker Kraft can block and run routes and get extra yards is just crazy. Upcoming tight end for sure. Yeah, I for one, am absolutely blown away with how good he is this year. He was good last year, showed some flashes. We had so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball that, he didn't get a ton of targets compared to this year where, we had Watson and Romeo out this week. This year overall, Luke Musgrave hasn't been playing as much. So Tucker's kind of getting the majority of the snaps there. I mean, he's breaking out on the scene as one of the better tight ends in the league, and something you absolutely love to see. A lot of the liners that he's got post game or during the week, whenever he's asked questions, are just perfect. Talks a lot of trash out there on the field. Plays like a bull in a china shop, as he said himself. You love to see it. Tyler, who is the player of the year for Green Bay? It's got to be Xavier, I think. He's been the most consistent. Getting turnovers, absolutely changes games. And the way he's doing it is unlike anything Coach LaFleur has ever seen before. He said it himself. So, yeah, Xavier McKinney so far right now is the player of the year. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here. That's going to do it as far as today's show goes. As you know, the content, though, never stops. I'm always posting anything Packers related all day long, so be sure to be following me at GBP Daily on every social platform. If you are not already, it would mean a ton if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel at GBP Daily as well. I'll be back at it again tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Thank you.